Hello, welcome back to another vlog this week. My hair is, I don't know what you call this shape. Welcome back to another vlog. I have a few plans for the day. It's Wednesday morning. Ohad is away at a reflexology appointment, and then he's gonna take a train to the north and be with his family for the day. It's really rare that we have a day off in the middle of the week, so I thought it was a great opportunity to check out the library. I've never been. It's a little bit out of my area, but it will be a nice bike ride, and I'm gonna go with Mai. We've been saying that we really want to go to the library together, and it looks beautiful, and apparently they are gonna have a big selection of English books. So I'm just hoping, as a foreign worker in this country, that they will grant me a library card, which I feel like I fucking deserve it, but let's hope. Yeah, so I'll probably film a little bit while we're in the library. We're also working on a film project together, so it seems like the right environment to also have like a little brainstorm session. And then also, the beach is calling me. I've enjoyed many hours at the beach recently over the past few days. Yesterday we were at the beach for like 6 hours, and it was just so healing in every possible way. So I feel like even if it's just an hour today or a few, or to catch the sunset, I really want to make it to the beach. I want to film the life stories tag at some point about memoir and stuff. I'm balancing you on the book that I want to talk about. 1 second. So I'm still working my way through The Pixels of Paul Cezzane and Reflections on Other Artists by Wim Wenders. I've got about 80 pages left. I'm really enjoying it. It's super inspiring. It's inspiring me to make art, and yeah, I love a book that does that, like as I'm reading it, it just lights, I can feel it lighting a fire inside of me to create things. And I would dog ear, but it's like there's something to dog ear on every single page. So just the whole thing is a big highlight. And I also would love to finish an arc that I talked about in the last vlog, which was Sevastopol by Emilio, Fraia, I want to say. That comes out on June 1st from Lolli Editions. So I would love to finish that before it's published. It's all very ambitious. Maybe make a little snack and read a little bit. And then I'll meet you probably at the library, so I'll see you there. Okay, so I'm back home. I must say that the library trip was slightly disappointing, or very disappointing. And like, to explain it is just to get into a whole bigger conversation about being a foreigner that works in a foreign place and lives here but just doesn't qualify as a resident in the system. Yeah, like, let's not get into it, but I did not leave with a library card. But they had an amazing selection, like a room of art books. So Maya and I just spent a lot of time like just looking through different photography books and like home interior design books and stuff, so that was really fun. And I would definitely go back there just with a notebook and like look and for hours and write notes and take photographs and write names of things, so I'll probably do that in the future. And they also had this poetry room, which was so beautiful, and we just decided to sit in there. We were the only two in there. Just sit and like talk and brainstorm like a project that we're working on. And that was like a really nice little environment for that. So not all was lost. Also, Mai got a library card, and she got out Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante, Eileen by Moshfegh, and a book of like Pablo Neruda poetry. So she like great picks. If she finishes them before they're returned, then like I will borrow them from her probably. So yeah, I think that's it. This is what my hair looks like when I swim in the sea and I just don't wash it. So yeah, I'll catch you later, maybe film something in the evening if it's interesting. Good morning. It's Friday. It's about 9:30 in the morning. We have to leave in about an hour for work, but I thought it would be nice to update you before. So yesterday, was it yesterday? I think. I finished this book, the Wim Wenders book that I've been talking about. I just loved it so much, which I think you already knew that by the way that I was talking about it. But just like really there was something about every single essay that was just golden, and there are gems in each one. And what was nice is that I knew a lot of the artists that he was referencing or writing to or writing about, which was great, but also the few that I didn't know, it didn't matter that I wasn't familiar with their work. It was just as inspiring. There was just the same amount to take from it, and also I gained, you know, some more people to research and look into. Specifically, the speech for Pina Bausch is magnificent. Pina Bausch is one of my biggest inspirations in general. So, like, that was a standout for me, and the way that he describes her work and her use of movement and dance theater, and just, yeah, it was really, really beautiful, and I will come back to read this and also all of these. I feel like this will stay with me and I will come back and revisit it for many years. So basically in this book, what he's doing is, like, you know when you look at a painting or something and you're like, how do they do that? Or you see a photograph and you're like, what is it about this photograph? What is that undescribable thing that is special about that? Like, how do they capture that? So that's basically what he's asking in each of these essays, is he's looking at a different artist and he's saying, how does he do it? Or how does she do it? And then he tries to dissect what is the answer to that. There's a lot of also reference to old cinema, German cinema, German cinema, American cinema. There's also Italian cinema. So it's really interesting. And there's one particular essay about Ingmar Bergman, Swedish director. I love that one also. Yeah, just really, really interesting. If you like art, there's also a really fascinating essay about Andrew Wyeth, the painter, who painted Christina's World. This painting, which you're probably familiar with. He's like inspecting each artist's eye and like where they must be seeing from, and he writes that like painters are the best people to learn how to see from. Can't escape these shadows. About halfway through, there's a eulogy for James Nachtwey, who was like kind of war photographer, even though Wim Wenders wants us to see him as a lot more than just a war photographer. From this essay on, he's sort of also exploring how an artist can contribute to peace, and how maybe through learning how to look and see and view as human beings things, by learning from the way artists teach us to see, it can contribute to peace. So that becomes also sort of a sub-theme within like dissecting each of these artists. This was beautiful. I was just starting Sevastopol, which I think is a city in modern day Ukraine, by Emilio Fraia, a Brazilian author, translated from Portuguese to English. Translation is by Zoe Perry, and it's this edition is published by Lolli Editions out of London. I talked about them in my last vlog. They kindly sent me this. It's an ARC. It comes out on June 1st, so in a few days. It's broken up into 3 parts, which are December, May, and August. So I read December and May yesterday, so I have just the last one. I was really surprised by how much it just completely, I was enthralled by the stories, and they're really, really interesting, and there's something that almost feels like fever dreamish. So the first story is about this woman who has like an obsession with climbing Mount Everest. She trains a lot for it. She's done a lot of like hiking and climbing mountains. And there's this, like, the story is being told as a letter to someone. Hard to explain because the stories are kind of weird and strange and yeah, like playing with the boundaries of reality or perception, more perception. Anyway, you find out that like she has some kind of disability that she got from an accident climbing Everest, and you find out that she's lost her legs. And she goes into this like movie theater, almost like a art exhibition, and there's a velvet curtain, and she goes inside and she's watching a film that is exactly her life story. Like, that's basically a recreation of conversations she had on Everest, people that she met, but like it's also very not her story, very over dramatized, and that like makes her angry and upset. And so this first story is like she's writing a letter to the artist, whoever that is, and you kind of like, she has a theory about who it is, and like just reflecting on the film and her own story and the whole situation and her accident and stuff like that. So it was like very, very strong, and I cried, and I felt like very, I felt like there was something a bit sitting on me when I finished the story. So very powerful. There's a part when she's in an ambulance after like they rescue her, and she's kind of like hallucinating in the ambulance, and like she's finding herself feeling like she's in different environments. So yeah, I found this story really interesting. I really love his writing. The second story, I preferred a little less to the first one, but it's like taking place in an abandoned kind of inn that exists in like rural Brazil. A couple arrives there, and one half of the couple, the man, gets like goes missing. And so we're following like these two men that work on this abandoned hotel and trying to find him and find what happened. And there's like some memory loss going on there, so things are like unreliable. In the description of the, or like the press release for the book, it talks about how it's like Rachel Cusk-esque, which I can definitely feel, and I think that that's why I'm really drawn to it. It also has that kind of Cusk feel of like conversations with people that like involve going back in time, or like recalling memories, or telling a life story to another person, which kind of reminds me of like bits of outline. So that also is happening, and yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I really recommend this book, and I think if you can read it in one sitting, it would be the most beneficial. I kind of stopped taking notes while reading, which I'm not sure is a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I feel like I should just do what I feel, which I haven't been feeling like writing very much about what I'm reading. I've just been inside what I'm reading. But then I find it a little bit more difficult when I sit down to talk about like feelings that I have in the moment while I'm reading it, and then I lose those like specific thoughts by the time that I'm telling you about it. So maybe I should get back in the rhythm of writing like a few notes during my reading sessions. But yeah, I'm really curious what other people will think of this book. Yeah, it's a short one. It's like 120 pages. And I think it packs a lot into a small space. That's it. And I'll catch you later. Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday. I'm in a sleeping shirt, and I just was shaving, which is why it's wet. So I'm like, yeah, coming to you in a very morning situation. Just wanted to update you that I finished this morning Sevastopol, and wow, overall I thought it was such an interesting little book. The 3 stories that make up the book are all very multi-layered, I think. I feel like I'm really interested by his writing, and I'm sure that like, I mean, I feel like reading it, that the translation was, I mean, really great, but of course I would never know that unless I could read it in Portuguese. So if anyone reads Portuguese, then I would definitely recommend, like, I wonder what it would be like to read it in its original language. But overall, I really like his style and writing voice, and it does remind me of what I like about Rachel Cusk, in the sense that it's sort of the pace of life, and you know, it's just kind of following, there's not really a plot, it's just sort of following a character as they reminisce about things or as they move through life. And like, there is a story, but it's not very plotty. There's like some gaps in memory, gaps in what is real and what is not. I'm like having a hard time describing it. The last story follows like a young woman. I think she's in like, I would say university age. Her name is, I think, Nadia, and she starts like, she's working in a museum and she writes a bit on her own, and then she encounters this like theater director in Brazil. I think the whole story is happening in Sao Paulo. She meets this theater director and he wants someone to kind of research with him. He's writing like a new play and he's looking for a researcher. And she's like, I mean, actually I would like to write, but I could probably help you with some research. So they sort of like start this weird friendship that is like just working on their play, like many nights, like long nights. They don't sleep a lot, they drink a lot, they like do some acid sometimes, and they're like sort of just like, she's kind of helping him with this play that he's writing about this war painter who like is surrounded by war in the city of Sevastopol. But like, what's weird about this painter is that he's surrounded by war, but he doesn't paint war. He paints war soldiers, but in different moments, like when they're playing cards or when they're drinking, I don't know, drinking a tea or something. Like, this is what he wants to paint. And so this theater director has this idea to make sort of like a bad play. It ends up being like really bad, about this like war painter. Yeah, so like they have a weird connection, this Nadia girl, and it's like, it's also within this story is a story that she's writing about a man and a woman. She names the female character after herself, and then I think the man's name is Sasha. And so like inside this story, we're also going through the story that she's writing, and like she's revising it and changing the place that the time that it takes place, and changing the situation that these two characters are in. I think actually there's an interview in the New Yorker with the author Emilio Fraia, called like Stories Within Stories, and I guess he's talking about this kind of layering thing that he did with this collection, or these three stories. Yeah, but overall, like, I think I gave it 4 stars. He's a really interesting new voice that I would be interested to read more of his writing. In the last story, he's like talking about the streets of Sao Paulo and like this place where like transvestites are like kind of smoking weed together. And I don't know, as I know, like transvestite is a little bit of an outdated word and like could be derogatory. So and it's just like put in there one time. And so I did have a question about whether we could have used a different word or, so I don't know. It was just a question for me. Maybe if you've read this, you can talk to me about it, or like let me know how you feel. Maybe I'll chat in my like the Book Hotties senior and junior group about it. Maya's coming over. She's working on an art piece and she's gonna photograph it for a submission, so she's bringing that over to photograph it somewhere in the house. As in terms of what I'm reading next, I want to kind of dedicate my time to Pop Song by Larissa Pham. We have a performance tonight. We had a performance yesterday. It was not the vibe. It was, for me, I did not enjoy. So hopefully started from the bottom and we go from there. Yeah, so talk to you later. Hi friends, it's Monday. I haven't really been reading the past 2 days, I think. Just like haven't really found the time or like picked up anything, but we'll see how the mood develops. But like the first 2 essays that I read from Pop Song, I really, really enjoyed. Today, Mai came over in the morning and she gave me like a little trim of my hair, which is so nice. And I told her that I wanted just to cut the front pieces of my hair just like a little bit shorter, not like bangs, but something like that kind of cascades would be the word. So we did that, and I took a few photos of her for like a project that she's doing. And then we walked to an area that kind of sells like a lot of fabric, like a market kind of, but it's just a street with a lot of like fabric stores. So we went fabric shopping for this like dress and head thing that Mai is gonna sew for this film that we're doing together. And then Ohadi and I just like went around, went to this store, dipped in there, like sat there, had a little pastry, went to the pharmacy, just like, you know, meandering shopping. And oh, I finally got this watch resized because it was so big. I mean, now it still, you know, has some room, but it was really falling down here. So now at least it like holds itself a little more. It's just those things that you like never want to do, or you never find the time, or, you know, just those things that you just put off doing. And it's so hot, but like we were really close by to a watch repair, so we just did it. What else can I say? Anything interesting that happened to us that we should say? Oh, we went to a lingerie store today. That was fun. Oh, I also got like a few jewelry pieces in. That was a very, very impulsive buying thing. Just like saw this random brand, never heard of them, didn't know anything about them. They're having a sale. I looked at their pieces. I don't really have any necklaces. I have like one pearl necklace from Majuri, but other than that, like I don't have necklaces that I feel like I can layer or wear things. I'm just not really much of a jewelry person. Like I always wear my rings, but that's about it. I found this brand called Agape, I think is how you say it. Agape Studio. It's out of Paris. It's a French brand. So yeah, that's not sponsored. I spent my money on this, so I'm just sharing with you. But they all came in these like really nice suede little pouches. So I got one that was just like a flat chain. I really like these like flat chains whenever I see them on other people. They are a little bit shorter than I thought that they were gonna be, but I feel like I'm getting used to it. This one, also I liked that a lot of their pieces are like inspired by like old Renaissance paintings or different like antiquities, like antique art. And I'm like, that screams me. So I got this one, which I think is called the Isaac necklace, and it's like a bust of a man, a portrait of a man, looks sort of like a painting. That hangs a little bit lower, which is really nice, and it's a little bit shorter than my pearl. So I feel like I can layer all of them. I don't know, guys. I'm like new to the jewelry necklace game, so if you have suggestions for me, that's great. They had a sale, so actually everything was like quite affordable. I got this chain, which is like this sort of twisted, braided also looking one. Ohad really likes this one. And it also hangs pretty like close to the neck. So those are my jewelry, that's my jewelry unboxing for you. Let's see how they stand the test of time, and then I can really let you know if I would recommend them. But I mean, so far, like, I'm really I think they're very beautiful and they feel good quality and not gonna break the bank because I don't have money to be spending on like Misoma and Majuri and stuff like that. They're like really expensive. Okay, that's it. Not very much bookish content today, but yeah, that's what I have got to offer you. Smell good? Actually, do they smell like anything?
They smell like paper.
Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday morning. It's the 1st of June. Oh my god, I just realized that right now. Which also means that the book that I just read, Sevastopol, comes out today. So, officially published. So you can read it now, and you should. I think it's an interesting read. We just went for coffee in the morning, and we're gonna like practice blocking our eyebrows with glue stick, because a friend of ours is like curating kind of drag night, performance night, and we're in the like stage of finding looks, sort of. So we bought some glue stick, and Ohad's gonna practice blocking the eyebrows. And we also got these gorgeous flowers. Ohad brought this back from his parents' house. It's like beautiful vase, whatever you say. It's a little chipped here, but I think we're gonna paint this black or paint it gold or something. But beautiful. And we got these flowers. So those should look very nice in here. It's Tuesday, and I feel like I want to upload this vlog and get the rest of it edited and have it up by this evening. And I probably won't do so much reading, like more reading to talk to you about before then. So I think I'm just gonna finish it out here. I feel like it wasn't very heavy on the reading, but that is life. So yeah, thanks so much for watching and getting through another week. If you want to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. It's up to you. Also, there's a little bell icon down there, which I guess like not everyone who subscribes to a channel gets notified when the channel uploads something unless you click that little bell. So you know what to do if you want. I'm feeling these little front layers. What do we think? Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. This is Ben Green.
This is Ben Green. Thank you. See you next time. Everyone loves when you wink.